Today we're going to be going over our math lesson. We're starting coordinate planes and you have 5 slides to complete today. Obviously this first slide's pretty simple. You're going to type in your name and date by double clicking in these boxes. Slide 2, you can go ahead and click, hold on one second, wrong copy. Let's go to this one. There we go. On slide 2, you are going to figure out which of these vocabulary terms from the word bank go with which definition. I'd like you to use your textbook glossary or chapter 23 in your math textbook to define the terms. I am going to review them on this slide here, but I do want you to take the time to type in each word. So this is a coordinate plane, and there's some pieces we need to talk about in order to be able to continue. I am going to go through this page but leave it blank. Your job after we're done with this video is going to be to go back and put these where they belong based on the lesson. So we have 2 big lines here that start us off on our coordinate plane. A coordinate plane is basically a way for mathematicians to talk about a specific location of a dot, of a line, of a shape. They can use this as basically a map. And it's very similar to Battleship if you've ever played Battleship. If I am going to say B6, I would go to the B and then follow all the way over to the 6. And that's basically how a coordinate plane works. If a mathematician wants to tell another person where a point is on a coordinate plane, they use directions. And these directions we're going to talk about. So first, they're going to tell you how far left or right to go by talking about this red line, the x-axis. The x-axis is a line that goes on forever. So this is going to go more than 10 all the way to infinity. Below 0, we know goes negative numbers. It's going to go negative numbers all the way forever that way. So a coordinate plane, this is just one corner or one quadrant of a coordinate plane. Because this actually goes on forever. So our x-axis again tells us which way left or right. Now the opposite over here, the blue line, would be our y-axis. The y-axis tells us how high up or down to go. It is a line that goes on forever up and forever below as well, negative numbers being below this point. Now if I want to tell someone where to go on a coordinate plane, I'm going to use something called an ordered pair, which is over here in orange. This 3 and this 6 tells me exactly where this point is on the coordinate plane. I have this line, if I go all the way down, is a 3 on the x-axis. In my ordered pair, the 3 comes first. The x point always goes first. The 6 refers to how high up it is on the y-axis. This is a 6 on the y-axis, so my second number in my ordered pair is a 6. So it goes x then y, just like the alphabet. X becomes before y in the alphabet. Now, if I'm talking about the specific point 0, 0, I'm trying to think of a term that means the beginning, the start, where all things come from. That would be the origin. So where the lines begin and come together, that's the origin, point 0, 0. Now, let's look specifically at the ordered pair. We talked about how the first number tells us how far over to go on the x-axis. This is 8 on the x-axis, so that the 8 would be my x-coordinate. So kind of like GPS coordinates in, like if you've ever done geocaching or hiking using a GPS. Coordinates telling you the location. The blue 9 would be how high up it is on the y-axis, 9. So this is really the basics of a coordinate plane. Let's go over it again. This is our x-axis telling us left or right how far to go. This is our y-axis telling us how high or low to go. Each point on here can be told with an ordered pair. However far over I go, that's my x coordinate, and however high up I go, that's my y coordinate. So my first number of my ordered pair is x coordinate, my second interesting noise. My second number is the y coordinate, and then the point where both lines meet is called the origin. Put these back for you to complete. All right, we're going to do 2 more slides today, and then that will be finished. So for our coordinate plane graphing, this activity, you are going to follow the descriptions and figure out which letter they're talking about. Remember, this is our x-axis, and this is our y-axis. So let's start with the first description. I'm going to do a couple and leave the rest for you to do. This point is located 7 units to the right of the y-axis. Okay, so here's my y-axis. I want to go 7 that way and figure out which point that follows. Okay, so 1 unit, 2 units, 3 units, 4 units, 5 units, 6 units, 7 units. So basically 7 on the x-axis is 7 units away from the y-axis. Is there any point along this line? I have an F. So the letter of that point would be F. This point is located 3 units above the x-axis. So starting at my x-axis, I'm going to go 1, 2, 3 units up. Are there any letter points on this line? Yes, B. You are going to continue to follow the directions to figure out what letters go with which clue on this page. I'm going to delete these so that you guys can fill it in. This one is very similar. It has a description of a point. You are going to place the letter where you want to go, and then you're going to finish by writing the ordered pair over here. Let's go back to the kind of basic structure of an ordered pair. Remember, the x comes first and the y comes second. In between them, we have a comma after the x and 2 parentheses kind of making the points together in a little house. So parentheses, x, comma, y, parentheses. Let's go back here. It says point A is located on the y-axis. So I can put my A anywhere on this line. I'm going to go 6 because that's my favorite number. Okay, so let's talk about what this ordered pair is. I know I'm going to start with the parentheses, and then I want to start with the next number will be x. So how far over is it on the x-axis? 0. It lines up with 0 on the x-axis. If it was 1, it would be over here. If it was 2, it would be over here. But because it hasn't even left the y-axis, that means that it's a 0 on the x-axis. I'm going to put a comma. My next number in my ordered pair is going to tell me how far up or down I'm going to go on my y-axis. This is a vertical one. And if I look on my y-axis, I am even with the 6. So my y-coordinate is a 6. So if I told anybody on a coordinate plane to go to 0, 6, they would go on the x-axis to 0 and the y-axis up to 6. And that is my point. I could put this point anywhere on this line and that would be okay, because it doesn't really tell us how or what they want x to be. I'm sorry, it doesn't tell us what they want y to be. All they tell us is it's located on the y-axis. All right, let's look at point B. Point B has a y-coordinate of 4. So my y-axis is here. Let's go to 4. Now, if it has a y-coordinate of 4, that means it's anywhere on this line. I can pick any x point on this line and it will be correct. I'm going to pick 4. 4 sounds fun to me. Actually, let's go 5, just for fun. So we're going to start with my parentheses, and then we're going to label it with the x-coordinate. The x-coordinate of this would be how far left or right it goes. So 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5 is where my number or my letter lines up. So it would be 5, comma, and it intersects with the y-axis over here at 4. So 5, 4, parentheses, and my point is done. I could have put my letter B anywhere here and adjusted my coordinate plane or my ordered pair and it would be correct. Okay. I want to do D and then I'll let you guys finish the rest. D says that it is located 6 units from the y-axis and 8 units from the x-axis. Okay, so if I am 6 units from the y-axis, I'm going to start at the y-axis and go 6 units. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. And then it says that I am 8 units from the x-axis. So that means I need to go 8 units up, 8 units away. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. I'm going to place this guy here. And I'm going to do my ordered pair. For the x-axis, I have a 6. Oh, I'm sorry, 8 units, not 6. There we go. I moved it because I did 6 units from the x-axis, and this is an 8. All right, let's try this again. I'm going to start with my parentheses. And then it says point D is located 6 units from the y-axis, so I have 6 units away from the y-axis, and it says 8 units away from the x-axis, so I'm correct there. All right, let's do our x-coordinate. My x-coordinate says it's on the 6. My y-coordinate says it's on the 8. So I am done with that point. Your job is to place all of these, add their coordinate pair, and finish this slide today. I hope you do feel comfortable with starting these. I am attaching a Khan Academy video on how coordinate planes work to assist you as well. Otherwise, feel free to email me and I will try my best to help you. Have a wonderful day. See you later.